Well, now as we think about our RC aircraft tips and tricks, one of the things that you'll probably have need of along the way, well, you probably already have one, but you might want a different one, is a stand to put your aircraft on to where you can work on it upside down and work on retracts to let them go up and down and things like that. And naturally, you can buy such things, but they're rather expensive. So anyway, I've tried a couple of different things, but here's the one that I've ended up using. And I'll show you what it is and how it's made. Okay, so here's the stand. Quite simple. Just simply a cross piece in the middle. Cut out each bit so they fit together. Fit together timber at the ends appropriately. And what I've decided to use, I started out with just sort of a Y thing up here, but I found it was marring the fuselage a bit. And so anyway, I decided to use the straps to hang it, but I found on the front end here, if I use this just as it was without these foam bits in there, I found that it really wiggled around a lot, and I wanted it a little bit more stable than that. So I've taken our good old Gorilla Glue again, the stuff that we use with foam type things. And I've glued a bit onto the straps, and I've glued a bit on the bottom down there. What that does is when the plane is sitting on there, this foam sort of sits against the foam, and that helps keep it stable, while the strap allows a uniform support of the structure of the airplane with whatever shape it might be. And the nylon is very smooth and non-marring, so it's not going to mess up the finish on your plane. So that sort of setup works real good. One thing I might mention is with this foam, it's got a very smooth surface on one side, and then there's the area where I cut it on the other side. If you try to glue it on the smooth surface, and especially on something like this that's bending, you'll find that it has a hard time maintaining a grip. But if you glue it on the surface that's been cut, that's got open cells of foam in it, and that's going to stay put. So with that as such, you can have your plane up there to be supported quite nicely. You know, it'll stay put pretty well. If you need to have it upside down, you can rotate it around, work on your landing gear or whatever it might be. And be careful about the tail when you got it upside down. But anyway, that's all set. Speaking of Gorilla Glue, you notice a bit of a repair job here. Okay, if you should have a unfortunate mishap such as what I had, where the plane comes down sort of generally a bit nose first. Unfortunate thing on these Rangers is that the thing doesn't have any spring pushing back. The only spring is going down. So anyway, it's pretty easy to rip the wheel right out of the foam. But that Gorilla Glue is fantastic for just putting around there. You don't need to put too much. Perhaps I went a little bit overboard on this one. But put it all over the foam where it's all broken off, shove it in there. I then put a couple sticks of wood across here, attach rubber bands around the other side to hold that in there. And then you'll find when you get done, in terms of cleaning up these bits, and I haven't sort of completely done that there, but you'll find that this stuff sands. And so you can get in there with something that will sand it, and you can actually clean that up and smooth it down and end up with something halfway decent. In this particular case, because it's underneath, I didn't worry about it too much, but you can clean that up pretty nicely. And off you go again. Speaking of such mishaps, you'll also notice, maybe you won't notice, let's get this where you can see it. If you look at that nose wheel, you'll see that there's a little bolt in there, okay? Another time when I had a mishap, it broke off right here at the top of this yoke. just snapped off the aluminum casting there. And so anyway, while I'm waiting for the other one to come, I decided, well, I'll just bolt it on there. So what I've done is I've drilled and tapped the shaft on the end of it, and then it's got that little bolt that I put a hole through the yoke there, and ran a little bolt through into the shaft, and that's fastened it in. Added a bit of epoxy around the edge there, and that's nice and secure now for quite a while. So lots of little things happen along the way, but you just roll with the punches and keep on with it. Well, that's it for today from Jim at his man cave with my ancient boat and all the rest of it, and the old planes and relics and whatever hanging around. Where are they? Various things up there, P-51 tail hanging out. But anyway, trust it's a help to you along the way.